9:30 a.m. I don't know what we have in store for today. Like I have stated in a previous recording, I do not pay much attention to the weather nor the news in general anymore. I don't like the programming or the narrations. But today is June 18th. In a few more days, it will be June 21st, the summer solstice. And I don't really want to call it an epiphany. Let's just say that I've had some thoughts pop into my head. And when you watch television programming, it is amazing how many programs lead up to certain events or holidays. So I'm watching a black and white western this morning, and basically the main topic was that of Druids and how the Druids had come to the United States, of course, to flee persecution over in England and other European countries. And well, you have to take into account that the summer solstice is a Druid holiday or celebration. In past times, it meant so much more than what it does today. The Druids, at one point in time, was labeled as those that constructed Stonehenge, as well as other types of monolithic structures. After coming in from taking care of the cats this morning, like I said, I had some thoughts. Basically that of domestic animals. And of course what different religions tell us about animals. And certain domestic animals that, of course, such as the cow and the pig, there is different reverences to those animals in certain countries. We have some countries that, abolish the factor of eating pork. Religion, and that falls into religion and tradition and so on and so forth. But yet they partake in beef. You've had the worship of cow gods. A lot of domestic animals. And of course, if you go back into the biblical stories, and if you read it properly in the context of there being gods and not just a god, or just a creator in the first chapter, and then you go into the second chapter and where it starts in speaking of the Lord gods, and they were the ones that designed not only the domesticated animals that we know of today, that have been around now for quite a few thousands of years, that just like man, there is no direct linkage to any of the predominant species. There is no link to the Homo sapiens and, to past other bipedal men, if you will. Homo erectus. I believe it's loosely linked in with Homo sapiens. Now they try to tie in a lot of these domesticated animals with animals of old or ancient times. But the only way that you can actually link them together is when you consider the hybridization factors that of course are speaken of in the Bible as well as other texts out there. The Sumerian texts speak of how the gods created man, and of course they also created the domestic animals. Cats. Back to cats. Why am I connected to the cats? Why have I always been connected to cats? And believe you me, I still have that very heartfelt story that includes cats. That is of reincarnation. We'll get there. But once again, why am I connected to cats? Well, in Egypt, once again, the cats are related to the gods. Why? Why are the cows related to the gods? Why are other animals related to the gods? Why is there so much reverence for certain animals? Because they were the animals created by the gods, or if you want to call it fallen angels, or if you just want to call it visitors from unknown sources, such as planets, according to such texts as the Sumerian texts. You have to understand the differences between wildlife and the domestic. You have to understand our link to the domestic animals. Think about what animals today are used within the medical professions to be experimented on, and what animals that they use organs from to transplant into humans. Why do they work? Because we are connected to those animals through the creations of that hybridization program from many thousands of years ago. And now we have these spheres that I've been showing for many years now. Nobody really comments on those videos that I have labeled or entitled with a spherical context applied. You have to understand this stuff, people. There are the connections to be made. I am one trying to make those connections so you people don't have to strain your brains in order to do so. All you have to do is be willing to have an open mind and to forget what you've been taught, trained, programmed within your schooling, your education, your religious schooling and education, and even your political schooling and education. Yes, there's a tie-in there as well. Bloodlines, lineages, hierarchies. It's a practice that's been going on for thousands of years. A practice of leadership and control. We were created by the so-called gods as servants. And since that time, most all of mankind, civilized mankind, if you will, has fallen prey to that servitude. Corporate slavery now. That is what it is. It used to just be servitude to the gods. Now, it is corporate slavery, and has been since the industrial age, if not before. All of this links in with that long timeline of the secret societies of the stone builders. They were the ones to lay the foundation to mankind and the existence of mankind that we know of today. They are still in control today. Long timelines of bloodlines, the controlling families. And it does not matter what political side your viewpoints might align with. Politicians are only in it for themselves. They may claim otherwise. And if you followed along with the reincarnation aspects over politics, yeah, politicians get really good when they can relive that life over and over and over and have, subconscious memories of gaining higher ground in that political field, because they always come back in that political realm. Unless, of course, they wake up, smell the coffee, and get the hell away from it. Alright. I think I've given you enough to think on. Just remember, that summer solstice is coming up. You'll be hearing more about that. You're going to be hearing a whole lot more on a lot of topics that I've been pumping out for many years now. So as other people. But I still have yet, and I am not gloating or anything like that, but I have still yet come across anything that is closer to reality, to the explanations of reality, than what you might see on this channel. And I've got more. Well, I had another topic of thought, but that kind of went wayward for the time being. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. And if that should pop into my head, I'll go ahead and pump out yet another recording. But as you can see, there's not really much as far as the sky. We do have a ball of light right there. So, and which it does look as though we will be seeing some bluer skies as this day continues, as I'm starting to see all this starting to break apart as I speak. So on that note, we'll be back at some point in time. And we'll see you once again on this flip side. Take care.